Today's video is brought to you by Handyman Services Network, home of slidingglassdoorparts.com, your number one stop shop for your sliding glass door repair parts. So, today we'll get started with roller assemblies. The many different types of roller assemblies. We have a rail lock roller assembly. This rail lock roller assembly has a rail lock right here. It has one on the other side. This actually snaps into a slot in your bottom rail when you push the roller in. This one has dimples. These are dimples that make the actual entire roller assembly wider than it would normally be just the roller assembly itself. This is like a 9/16 roller assembly width, and the dimples make it go out to 3/4. We also have a different type dimple. Here's the rounded dimple. It also is a rail lock roller assembly that locks into the bottom rail with a slot. Notice there is a position here. This rail lock is on the bottom. This rail lock assembly, the rail lock is in the middle. Here are two die-cast roller assemblies. Virtually have the same exact housing, except for one thing, the back end. This back end is full height. This back end is half height. That's why when you send me a picture, and you send me a picture of the bottom of your door, and all I see is this, I can't tell nothing from that except it's a die-cast housing. I can't see that it's either full height or half height. I can't tell whether the screw for the adjustment is over the hole that holds the door together or under the hole that holds the door together. An example of that is these two. Both of these are rail lock assemblies. They have dimples. But this one on the left, the adjusting screw is under the hole where the screw goes that holds the door together. This one on the right, the adjusting screw is on top of or over the hole that holds the door together. These are very important. In other words, if you send me a picture of a roller assembly laying on its side, of course the screw is not real visible like this one, I can't tell anything from that roller assembly whether the adjusting screw is over it or under it. I need to see the screw end. This roller assembly here has no dimples, but it does have distinguishing marks. We have this oval stamped into it. We also have the screw hole for the door holding together is over the adjusting screw. This one also has another feature that you're looking for. Since there's no rail lock on the side to lock this roller in place in the rail, something has to secure this roller assembly in your bottom rail. This roller assembly has a screw hole. This screw hole is for a screw that goes through the actual glass channel in the bottom rail. So when you knock the bottom rail off and look down inside it where the glass channel is, you'll see a little screw that holds the roller assembly in the bottom rail. Once again, this roller assembly also has another hole here. That is another distinguishing mark of this roller assembly. So if you send me a picture of a roller assembly, you give me a view like this, which is a perspective view. I can see the back end of the roller. I can see where the screw hole is. I can see where the adjusting screw is. I can see features on the side of the roller. I can also see that there's something on top. So you send me a flat view. The flat view, I don't see the rail lock. All I see is this feature. You send me a top-down view. I see there's a screw here that holds it in the bottom of the channel. I also see another distinguishing feature is this extra hole here near the screw. That will help me identify this roller assembly. Also, all these roller assemblies have wheels from 1 inch in diameter to 1 1/8 in diameter to 1 1/4 in diameter to 1 1/2. Example, that's a 1 inch roller, the bitty roller. See, I'm pretty sure I have a 1/8 here. I don't see a 1/8, 1 1/8. Here's a 1 1/4 inch roller. Here's a better example. Here are 3 tandem roller assemblies. All 3 of these have the exact same back end where the adjusting screw is below the screw that holds the door frame together. This roller has a 1 inch roller, 1 inch, 1 1/4, 1 1/2. All 3 of these roller assemblies also have a screw in the top to hold it in the bottom channel of your door in your glass. So if you send me a picture of this, unless I'm really good, I can't tell if it's 1 1/4 or 1 1/2 from your picture. I can see the 3 distinctive slots in the frame, and that's about it. So I need to see a perspective view, which will show me 3 sides. I can see the top, I can see the end, I can see the side. I need to see a flat view. That way I can see every distinguishing mark, and sometimes I can guess what roller diameter you have. Then I need a top view. I can see the screw hole, where it's at, that holds this roller in the bottom of your door rail. Here's a tandem roller assembly. Has no rail lock. It does have the screw hole over the adjusting screw, and this one has a slot that fits in a tab that hangs down inside your bottom rail of your door, that this will actually slide into and lock into place. Then when you screw the door together, all this holds together and holds the door together and holds the roller in. Here's a roller assembly that has a top screw hole, just like these up here. This one has your hole for the end. It also has a distinguishing circle in it that's cut out. It has the screw, the circle, 1 1/2 inch wheels, and it's a tandem roller assembly. But from the bottom of your door, once again, from the bottom of your door, if you take a picture of the bottom of your door, all I see is a bunch of gobbledygook. I really can't see a dang thing about what this roller consists of without seeing the frame, the perspective view, the end view, the flat view. This is an Anderson roller. It's Anderson doors. This roller simply sticks up in the bottom of your vinyl or wood door. It has these little pointy catches on both sides. That's what actually holds this in the bottom of your door. It also has a side adjuster, which means that somewhere in the bottom rail of your door, usually about 6 inches from each end, and about an inch and a half up on the bottom of your rail, you'll see a little plastic plug. And that's the adjusting hole plug for this roller, for an Anderson door. This is the typical, most widely used tandem roller for doors that are wood or vinyl. It has about a 5 3/4 inch screw spread, I believe. Has 1 1/4 inch wheels, very distinguishable when you look at it. It has a screwdriver slot on one side, has a star slot on the other side, or cross. This is the adjusting screw. Once again, this one just goes in the bottom of your door. 2 screws hold it in place. So this one you do not have to take the door apart to get this roller out. You simply lay it down, take 2 screws out, and pull it out. This one has a step adjuster, which means it doesn't adjust like a screw, just continually screwing in a nut. This one, when you adjust it, it actually clicks. Let's see if we can make it click with my little pointer screwdriver. As you click it, it raises up the wheel assembly inside. And you click it back down. And there it is, fully back in the housing. Now, this roller assembly is very important that you do not adjust this roller assembly with weight on that end of the door, because this stepper, instead of the screw, such as this one, does not have the ability to pick a 100-pound door up. So you need to raise the end of the door up, then put your screwdriver in here to adjust this wheel assembly so you don't break this little stepper inside of here. This roller is a tab mount roller. As you can see, it has a tab on the end. This particular tab is an open-ended tab. There are other roller assemblies that have a circle here, which is a closed-end tab. This one has dimples. So that means when you put this roller assembly in the end of your rail, this little tab fits up against the extrusion in the bottom of your rail, so that when it stops on that extrusion, then when you put the stile back on the door and put the screw through it to hold the door together, this is locked in between the stile and the rail so it doesn't slide back and forth. This one has dimples, some don't, some do. This one has your adjusting screw and above the tab. Here's another tab. This is a tab mount roller. This one really doesn't have any dimples, but it's just slightly wider than it should be, or the housing is. This one is a 1-inch wheel, tab mount, and once again, if you send me a picture that looks like this, the bottom of this roller sticking out the bottom of the door, I can't tell a darn thing about it. And by the way, I was going to mention, these are die-cast housings. Die-cast housings usually have this interior housing, the one holds the wheel. This one has a steel inner housing, a die-cast aluminum outer housing. All the stuff is riveted, not screwed. This one has the same, this is again, same housing. This one has a full length, this one has a half length. This is in the exact same location. This one is a rivet head, this is a rivet head. The rivet heads are simply put in different sides from the view I'm showing you. But they're the exact same housing except for this full length and half length. So when you show me this picture, I can't tell anything. I've got to see a profile picture, a side picture, and a top picture. I'm trying to see if there's any. This is what we call an extruded aluminum housing. This housing is just extruded aluminum from a piece of bar, and it's not as heavy and generally not as good as either the steel or the die cast. But some doors this is what they had in them, and that's that's what you got to put back. This particular roller assembly here is my favorite. This is for a Peachtree citation door. This one, you don't see a rail lock. You don't see a screw here or here. You don't see a hole in the top of it to mount it to the rail. And you say, well, how the heck does this thing stay in? This slides over the extrusion that's for the screw that holds the door together. This roller stops in the rail right here. In other words, this much of this roller assembly sticks out of the bottom rail and locks in there. It won't go in any further. So when you put the door together, you put the stile up here. This slides up in over the stile. You put the screw in, and this roller doesn't come out. And I think I've about covered most everything about the differences in the roller assemblies. And once again, if you're going to send us pictures, we've got to see the end of the roller, the side of the roller, and the top of the roller, because we need to see if it's going to be a rail lock. We need to see dimple locations, because a lot of rollers will have 3, some will have 2. But until we see that, we don't know. Here's one that actually has dimples, but it does not have the rail lock. This one slides in, this little slot up here butts into the extrusion where the screw goes in the bottom rail that holds the door together. Then you put it together and all this stays in place. So that's why when you say you have a standard sliding glass door, there is no such thing as a standard sliding glass door.